Hi, welcome back to day 2 of our 5-day painting challenge. Today's challenge, or today's exercise, is going to be about shapes. And today I've got a couple of goats up here. They have great shapes. And I've got my thumbnail here where I've organized my shapes to some degree, a little more than there, but I cropped it there, did a thumbnail here, and then I'm going to use those neat shapes in the painting. And what I mean by neat shapes is if you look here or in my thumbnail where I've mimicked it, I've got the goat touching 1, 2, 3 places. So it actually touches on the edge, there, 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 there. There's a bunch of places almost far. This one's close to the edge. But what that does is it breaks the background up into interesting shapes. And that's one of the things you have to do as an artist. You have to always plan your whole painting. A lot of people, they put something in here and they forget about everything else. Your painting is always about everything that happens. The shapes you leave are as important as the shapes you paint. So that's what you want to focus on sometimes. Now, this is a 20-minute painting challenge, and I want to do it a little bit differently for each one. So in this one, I'm going to start drawing with black gesso. So black gesso, you can do it with black paint if you don't have black gesso, but I like black gesso because it dries really fast and it dries flat, so you get the similar finish as the white gesso, which is usually on the canvas or the board. So I'm going to start drawing in with that. So what I've got here today, I've got some titanium whiteout, nickel azo yellow, cad red, magenta. That's the gesso, black gesso. This is quinacridone burnt orange. Some people just call it brown. Cobalt blue, phthalo blue, green shade? Phthalo green something shade. I think it's phthalo blue red shade. Sorry about that. Phthalo blue red shade. Phthalo green blue shade. Phthalo green blue shade. Dioxazine purple, which I like to call dioxazine violet. I just think it sounds nicer. And black. In this case, iron oxide black, but it's also known as lamp black, Mars black, peach black, any old black. It's an opaque black, okay? All right, so when I start drawing here, I'm going to start up my little clock here to give me 20 minutes, and we'll see what I can get done. Now, I've got to simplify my technique compared to, what I do in a bigger painting, but it's not that different. I'm going to start out in this one with a little brush. So this is the opposite of everything I've told you so far. This is a little brush because I just want to draw in with this, but I'm going to put spots here and there to kind of get the sense of it. Then I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to glaze over it and finish it off. So that's the idea. I have a plan. It's always good to have a plan. Oh, I got to start the timer. I'm cheating. I got paint in the brush already, so I'm gaining a few seconds advantage. This is like if you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of your thing, you can stop your clocking. But don't overdo it. No thinking while you're in the bathroom. All right. Okay, timer's running. I got 20 minutes. So actually what I'm doing here is, you see the horn on the goat there? It's right up about, let's see, about there, right? So that's that spot. Now here's the other one where his back horn touches. It's about there. Now what I'm trying to do is get these all a little bit different. Now as you come down, there's his ear, right? It's about 1/3 of the way down, but I've got it less in here, so I'm going to go with that. A little less, probably 1/4. So there's his ear over there, okay? Now, the goat in the bottom here, the dark goat. I guess one's the good goat and one's the bad goat. This is the bad goat, okay. The bad goat, his horn's about there. So I just put marks to kind of get myself set up. Now, when I draw this in, I'm committed. And it's one of the things I like about this is this, if you're trying to, you know, change the way you work as an artist, right? You have to change the way you do things. So when you start out with black gesso, you're committed. Like whatever you put on there is on there, and you got to live with it. And you learn to draw as you go to a large extent. So somewhere there. Through there somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to get a bigger brush so I can block in some of that. He looks like he's going to move down a little. And when I say move down, when I stood back from it, I can see, okay, this guy's got to come down a bit. And when I paint, if I have to correct something, I just correct it. So that should be more there. And that means this has to come down as well. And that means that has to come down. Okay. That's closer. Yeah, I'll cut that down a little bit more. There. I'm just going to break that. Just to break that shape a little bit. And there. So I've kind of done a block-in with black gesso, and I've dragged the brush a little bit to get a bit of a change, but that only takes a couple of minutes. Okay, dry enough. Now, this time I'm going to use a little bit of retarder, just so it stays wet a little bit longer. So I put some retarder out here. Now I'm putting some water in the brush, and I'm just going to get this wet. Okay, so that's wet with a little bit of water and a little bit of retarder. And what that's going to do is give me a bit more time for the paint to settle. This is that burnt orange stuff. This is that nickel azo yellow stuff. Both of these are quite transparent. I don't want any white left. Okay, while that's wet, one of the things I want to do in this painting is bring up the value a little bit on some of the darks. I don't want them all really, really dark. So I'm going to use something over top of that. Now, it doesn't really matter what I pick. If I want to keep it warm, I can pick something that's opaque and warm. In this case, I've got mostly cad yellow and a little bit of cad red, just so I can adjust some of these a little. So wherever it goes across the dark, it brings it up in value. Just a little bit. And if I go down in there, I'm going to go over him a little bit. I don't want this as dark. So when that dries, the dark will come through, but not as much. Halfway there, 10 minutes left. Okay, so it's going to stay wet. Now I'm going to take the cobalt blue, a little bit of white in it, and I want to adjust the value and color a little bit. I want to have some play of color. But this painting's about shapes, but paintings are always about color and shapes and everything else. So I'm just going to go through there. You see how that just softens in? So this is a little bit of cold color. More magenta in there. It's a mid-tone. I always think by value. It's a mid-tone value. Colder color to play off the warmer color. I want to get most of this where it's really dark. Cover it over. There. So now I want to bring out the light or white or whatever. It's not really white, but as I paint into this, it should just soften in because I used a retarder. Just a little bit more water. Try to get that shape, soften it in, that shape. Smaller brush, 6 minutes left. Oops, picked up the wrong color. So what I want here is it's kind of a pinky violet. I don't know what you call it, but I just want to pick up on a little bit of the stuff on this guy. Well, a little shape in there. A little shape in there. That one goes off. That one goes off. This guy's got nose issues, which I will try to fix. One bit there. Took too much off. Now, fix his nose. Where's his nose? His nose does that. That. As you can see, I work all over the painting. Move around. Three minutes left. Oh my God. Okay. So one of the things I want to do is I want to bring this out a little more. I want those shapes to come out, a little more contrast between this and this. So I either want to make that lighter or that deeper. So I think in this case, I'm going to make that deeper. I've got it mid-tone in there, so that's what I'm going to do. Going by my thumbnail, not what I see there, but by my thumbnail. So I'm going to take this burnt orange stuff, and hopefully it's dry enough. And I'm mixing it with some yellow, get it to a mid-tone. And I'm going to make it more opaque. I want that to come out even more. So that brings it out a little bit more. Maybe I should do this with the bigger brush. 1 minute left. Let's see if this will stick. So we've got really high key white or light. Finger painting. Get this on, I'm trying to pile it on. And one last thing. He's got a little bit of hair right there. Done. All right, so turn this noisy thing off. So there's a couple of goats with the shapes. Now the shapes I planned in this, okay? But as I'm going through, I'm always painting shapes. You're always painting shapes no matter what you do. But I'm trying to bring those shapes out to try and make it look like this and that. So I'm going from the goats to this, and I want it to look kind of like my thumbnail. You see how it touches, like I said, in different places? And the background breaks up into interesting shapes, okay? Now this one is done wet and wet with retarder. Okay, each one of these challenges I'm doing a little bit differently just to give you some ideas, right? You don't have to try and do everything that I do, but the concept in this is to try to focus on the shapes and make the shapes come out in your painting. I know I've done more than that. I've pushed it a little bit. It's more of a finished painting, but the idea is the same, okay? And thanks for painting along. I hope you do so, and we'll see you in the next one tomorrow. I hope you found this information useful. And I have a handout called How to Fix Your Painting, and you can get it by clicking on the link below. And thank you for watching.